Hey guys, I'm trying this from my new iPhone 4 that I got for Christmas. Well, it's an early Christmas present, but I'm deciding to try this for my iPhone 4 because it's apparently better quality than my laptop webcam. It's HD, and so I just wanted to see if it would work okay. And I think it would be a more interesting way to watch my videos than just watching them from a shitty webcam. But anyway. I've decided to do a video music review. I don't usually do these kinds of things. I used to write movie review blogs, and I used to write some music reviews for the paper back in school. I don't usually like doing video reviews because I just find them a lot more harder, not harder to do, but I don't really like they don't feel as professional to me usually as written stuff. But I've decided to give it a try because I feel that video blogs are more immediate and a little easier to bring together than a written review, which for me would usually take at least several days of writing and rewriting and thinking and stuff like that, deciding how I felt about things. But I felt that if I filmed it, it'd be a little bit more immediate and more interesting. So what I'm going to review is the score for Tron Legacy, the upcoming Tron sequel. I am a huge connoisseur of movie scores. I listen to all the greats like Bernard Herrmann and Miklos Rozsa and Jerry Goldsmith and all those people. And I'm a big fan of orchestral music as well. I listen to lots of classical and things like that. So I always get really excited about new movie scores that are coming out. And when I heard that Daft Punk, who is an electronic music group that I really like, was doing the score for the new Tron sequel, of which is a sequel to a movie, Tron, which I liked, I was like over the moon. So I was like, oh man, I can't wait to see what they come up with. And I actually went out and bought the score. I don't usually, and that's a thing, that's a new thing for me. I don't usually go out and buy music. Usually I download it, but I actually felt that I was interested enough to go out and buy it, and I listened to some samples on YouTube and things like that. And unfortunately, I don't have my copy here with me because I left it in the car, and my parents took it out driving, so unfortunately I don't have a copy with me, but I bought it. And, well, basically, here's what I think about it. Well, let me give you some background first. The interesting thing is that Daft Punk, working with director Joseph Kosinski, were always planning to do a mix of electronic and orchestral music, and I thought this was a really interesting idea, because it's very rare that you see electronic music and orchestral music mixed well. The original Tron did it, or at least tried to do it, but the problem with that was that Wendy Carlos had already composed all of her electronic stuff, and the orchestral stuff was added on later without her approval or want. She thought that the orchestra wouldn't be able to keep up with her electronic tempos and things like that. So Daft Punk in the process of making the score, worked very closely with the director and with their orchestrator Joseph Schrapanese, and they worked very closely together to make sure that they got the best sounding score possible. And I have to say, they did a really, really good job mixing the electronic and orchestral elements. There's actually a little bit more orchestra than I expected in it, but I actually really like that, and I'll get to that in a moment. But, there's all kinds of really interesting, like, thumping beats and repeating electronic arpeggios, and things like that. And I was actually very surprised at how well how deftly they blended the two elements. As for the music itself, it's very, I like it a lot. It's very memorable. A lot of people have been comparing it, I think kind of unfairly, to Hans Zimmer's score for Inception. I hate Hans Zimmer. But the thing about the score for Inception was that, with Hans Zimmer, it's very repetitive, and it's very focused on percussion and driving beats and things like that. Whereas and also the score for Inception didn't have a lot of the really epic electronic stuff that the Daft Punk score had. But I feel that besides the fact that it's more electronic than Hans Zimmer's usual stuff, it mixed the orchestra better, and it was more melodic than Hans Zimmer stuff. There was some stuff that you could say sounded a little derivative, but it was the mix of the electronic and the melodic orchestral elements that really brought it above and made it into its own thing. And I'm amazed with the emotion in some of these tracks. One of my favorite cues is Q10, Adagio for Tron, and it's this very grand, sweeping orchestral melody that's very sad. And I was really surprised how, and it really grabbed me, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And And, you know, and that's another thing that's really interesting, because each track is very, very memorable, you know, like, each track has something interesting about it that kind of draws you in and sticks it in your mind, you know, whether it's like a repeating melody or just some kind of catchy sound or an interesting, you know, an interesting electronic tweak, you know. So it's a very good score. I was surprised how emotional and sweeping it was, and you could sense the influences from other composers like Wendy Carlos and Bernard Herrmann and Danny Elfman, but they made it their own thing, and they kind of infused it with their own style, and I was really surprised. My only problems with it is that the tracks are very short. It's maybe like a minute and a half for most of the tracks, a minute and a half to 2 minutes. Some tracks are 4 minutes, and as a whole, the whole thing kind of blends together. I mean, each individual track is very memorable and it's well done, but some of the tracks kind of blend together. Like, I don't like the overture very much and things like that. But overall, I really think it's a good score, and I like a lot of the. It's very minimalist, electronic kind of orchestral stuff with lots of arpeggiated orchestral melodies. Like, there's this one repeating melody that's like stuff like that. It's almost very Philip Glass. It reminded me in some parts of the score for Koyaanisqatsi, and that's a good thing. And I like how it mixed the electronic and the orchestral elements, because, you know, the movie's about the mixing of the flesh, you know, the real world of the flesh mixing with, you know, the cold technological interface of the computer, and in mixing those two elements, it really perfectly kind of communicated that tone, and I can't wait to see how the score fits up with the movie on screen. So that's pretty much all I have to say about it. I really enjoyed it, and I really hope to see more movie scores coming from them, because I'm really impressed by this, and I think that with a little bit of fine-tuning and a little honing of their skills, they can make some very memorable scores to come, and I really want to see more of that. I'd give it 4 stars out of 5. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later.